everyone. So today I will be introducing you to textured vegetable protein, commonly known as TVP. This is one of my favorite foods in terms of versatility, sustainability, and nutrition. I can't wait to tell you more about it. So first, we will be going through the basics of TVP, what it is, where it comes from, what it looks like, and so on. Then we will move on to discussing its nutrition and health benefits. Then we will move on to discussing its sustainability and affordability. And we will review food safety specific to TVP so we can keep ourselves safe in the kitchen. Finally, I will show you a fun recipe you can make with TVP, although there are way more recipes out there than just the one I will show you. So, what is TVP? TVP is a protein-rich soy product. So it's a soy product that is rich in protein. You may be wondering, where does it come from? So TVP is in fact a byproduct of soybean oil extraction. So the oil gets all the fat from the soybean, and the TVP is the rest of the soybean and is essentially pure protein with a little bit of carbohydrates. When was it first made? TVP was actually first made in the 1960s by Archer Daniels Midland, an agri-food company. So it's actually fairly recent food in terms of the development of the agri-food industry. Now let's discuss the types of TVP. So as shown in this photo, there are many types of TVP available on the market. There are chunks of TVP, slices of TVP, strips of TVP, and granules of TVP. Granules of TVP are the most commonly available form of TVP available on the Canadian market. So this is what chunks of TVP looks like. They are thicker and larger than the other types of TVP. These are slices of TVP, which are about the same size as chunks of TVP, but thinner. These are strips of TVP, which are long and thin. And finally, this picture represents granules of TVP, which are very small and rehydrate very easily compared to the other forms of TVP. They are very small and pebble-like, and they are most commonly available on the market. So this is the best type of TVP to make tacos, sloppy joes, spaghetti sauce, or chili, as we will see later. On to the nutrition of TVP. So TVP is a highly nutritious food. It is a great source of plant-based protein with 52% protein by weight. So as you can see here, a quarter cup or 15 grams has 9 grams of protein, which is a lot of protein. This is actually more protein than beef, chicken, or salmon. And protein is important to maintain muscle mass and a healthy body composition, so we want to make sure to eat a good amount of it. TVP is also a good source of fiber. So as you can see here, a quarter cup or 15 grams has 2 grams of dietary fiber. So this is more than 10% fiber by weight, and fiber is important for gut health and regular bowel movements. TVP is also a great source of B vitamins such as thiamine, riboflavin, and niacin, among others, and it's a good source of minerals such as calcium, iron, magnesium, and zinc. All these minerals are harder to obtain on a plant-based diet, so TVP is an excellent food to consume if you are plant-based. Now on to the health benefits of TVP. So as a plant protein, TVP helps to maintain blood pressure within a healthy range. It reduces LDL or bad cholesterol levels in the blood. It increases HDL or good cholesterol levels in the blood, and overall reduces risk of heart attack or stroke. So it's excellent for heart health and more. Now into the sustainability. So as we all know, TVP is made from soy. Soybean cultivation is usually done in a monoculture and is associated with negative environmental impacts, such as deforestation, habitat destruction, impoverished soil due to erosion and compaction, and more. However, since TVP is a byproduct of soybean oil extraction, it theoretically does not drive increased demand for soy, as more soybean oil is consumed worldwide than TVP. Additionally, the environmental impact of TVP as a soy product is much lower than the environmental impact of meat for the same amount of protein created. This figure represents the amount of land, water, and fossil energy required to produce the same protein content in soy protein and in meat. The meat clearly uses more land, water, and energy than the TVP, so TVP is a more sustainable option than meat. TVP is a highly affordable food. So here we see that 340 grams or 12 ounces of TVP are available for $5.49 at Metro. However, once rehydrated, this becomes 1 kilogram of TVP as it can absorb double its volume of water. TVP can also be purchased more affordably at bulk food stores or natural food stores. So this is in fact at the higher end of the price range, and it is still affordable. A few notes about TVP and food safety. So dry TVP is shelf stable and can be kept at room temperature for up to a year. Meanwhile, rehydrated TVP is highly perishable due to its high moisture and protein content. As such, it should be kept outside the temperature danger zone, which is from 4 to 60 degrees Celsius, and it should be used right after rehydration or put in the fridge if you do want to use it later. This will help prevent the growth of microorganisms in the TVP. Now onto a recipe that uses TVP. So TVP is very versatile and can be used to make tacos, sloppy joes, chilies, and more. Here we will use it as a replacement for ground meat in a meatless spaghetti sauce, which is really a meatless pasta sauce, since you can have it with any type of pasta, and you can even eat it as a stew with some bread on the side. So now here is our recipe video. Let me play it for you. Hi everyone. So today we will be making meatless pasta sauce with TVP, as you can see in the picture over here. So here I cooked the meatless pasta sauce with gnocchi. You could also cook it with spaghetti or really any type of pasta. And yeah, let's get to the recipe. It's really tasty. I hope you enjoy it. Start by washing our hands really properly for at least 20 seconds. So as you can see, washing my hands here, taking time to really wash my palms, the backs of my hands, my thumbs, my wrists, and everything. Very important to reduce food safety risks when cooking. And yeah, just rinsing off my hands and we'll get ready to cook. I am chopping some garlic, nothing special. We will be cooking this garlic in a pan very soon. Then we will measure a 1/4 cup of olive oil. You can also just pour this directly in the pan, but here I'm measuring just to use the appropriate amount. And this is what we're going to use to cook. Now onto chopping this beautiful red onion. So you can see me chopping the onion. Here I'm just using 1 onion because it was very big, but normally the recipe says to use 2. So you're just going to chop it like this and you're good. Look at this onion. Wow. Here I am chopping some carrots and celery. Those will go in with the onions for our vegetable base. Now I'm just measuring out 1.5 cups of TVP. So as you can see here, measured the 1st cup and now measuring the 2nd cup, and then we'll be good to go. Here I am measuring some red wine. You could also use some additional broth if you don't want to cook with alcohol, but yeah, just some wine. Nothing special here. Now I'm measuring some broth, so I'm using some hot water from a kettle. And here I'm measuring 1 cup, but you'll need 2 for this recipe, just like that. And finally our spices. So here you see me measuring, these are the pickling spices, the marinade spices. You'll just do the same thing for all your spices and you'll be good to go. So now onto the actual cooking. So adding some olive oil into the pan I will use to cook everything, just like that, about 1/4 cup. And then I added the vegetables, so as you can see here, and here they are all nicely cooked down. So you should let your vegetables cook until they're nice and softened. The onions should be translucent. You don't want to leave your vegetables too crunchy. You want them to be nicely cooked down and nice and soft to the bite. That's what it looks like. This is what the vegetables look like once they've cooked down. Apologies for the color contrast. It's not excellent. But right there, you've got your cooked down onions, carrots, and celery. And you'll just let that reduce for a little bit. There will seem to be a lot of liquid, but you will let it reduce and it will all cook down. So here I've added the TVP. It looks dry, but that's exactly what TVP looks like before it's rehydrated. That's what it looks like in the pan. Now I've added the tomatoes. Very important. They'll help to add some flavor and some liquid. So right there are tomatoes. And I will be stirring it all together in a minute so you can see what it looks like. Here I've added the spices, now mixing it all together so it all gets combined. This may seem like a lot of liquid, but remember you will be cooking this down for about at least an hour to 2.5 hours. So while this may look like a soup initially, it will thicken up to more pasta sauce consistency with time. So be patient, let it simmer. So this is what it looks like as a final product. You'll see it's still a little bit of liquid in there. That's all for today. I hope you make this recipe at home and that you enjoy it. And thank you for following along. Hi, everyone. So that was our recipe video. Here is the ingredient list for the recipe. So as you can see, you've got quite a few vegetables. So garlic, onion, celery, carrot, and some mushrooms in there, even though they're not technically vegetables. Many spices, some Italian diced tomatoes, TVP, obviously, and some liquid to help everything cook. So we have wine and vegetable broth here. And now for the nutrition information for the recipe. As you can see, this meatless pasta sauce has a little saturated fat, so 5% or less, and a lot of sodium, so 15% or more. It's also very high in fiber and iron, so 20%, and high in protein and calcium, with 10 grams of protein and 10% calcium per 1 cup serving. Now for the cost analysis, so this recipe costs about $1.87 per serving. If the same recipe was made with ground beef instead of TVP, it would be about $2.29 per serving, assuming you're using lean ground beef, so that's more expensive, and you would pay up to $9.99 per serving for a similar dish served at a restaurant. So it is definitely more economical to make this recipe at home and to make it with TVP instead of ground beef. Thank you for listening. Here are my references. And that's all for today. Thank you very much.